Hi there, my name's Daniel from Transcon Trailer Sales. I'm going to be walking you through your 2022 Clipper 162 RPM. We are just going to start off at the back of the trailer. Do notice you are pre-wired for an observation camera. If you're wanting to get set up with that, you can talk to our parts department about that and then get you all set up. You also have your exterior shower, which does just unlock with a 751 key. We'll include that with your trailer. You just stick it in there, turn it, it unlocks, and you got a swivel shower head with hot and cold water. You do have your spare tire, and then just stored away in the back bumper is your sewer hose. Once fully extended, it is about 20 feet long. Just take a note of those 2 ears there. It's going to be the same 2 ears that line up with your sewer outlet. In this corner, as well as all 4 corners of the unit, you do have a stabilizer jack. We include the tool for that in the front compartment. We're going to just hook that up to this bolt. You're going to run it down to the ground, give it another 1/8 turn once the foot contacts the ground, just to firm it up, and it's just going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. In this back corner, you also have your hot water service port. If you pop that open, the only thing you're really going to have to worry about in here is the drain bolt. If you wanting to empty your tank for the season, or you're leaving the unit for a while and you're not going to use it, you can just loosen that bolt off, pull that out. It's just going to drain your hot water tank. Whenever you first get to a site, you are just going to want to hit that pressure relief valve. There should be a shot of water that comes out. Right now the unit's winterized, so the tank is empty. That's why there's no water coming out, so it wouldn't be safe to fire it up because you do run the risk of burning out your tank. I'm going to go over a reset procedure inside. The button I'm going to refer to is just right here. Right down below that is just your sewer outlet. You're just going to take that cap, give it a turn. It's going to pop off. It's got the same 2 ears your sewer hose did. They do just lines up with these notches in any order. You got your black tank and your gray tank. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first, as it's going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets, and then you can follow behind that with your gray tank, which is typically your cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. This little silver port here is just your furnace exhaust. That does blow out hot air whenever the furnace is running, so just be mindful of that. You do have your cable satellite inlet. This is just a service port for your fridge. And then you do just have your city water connection as well as your fresh tank fill. If you're going to a site with service, there is no need to fill your fresh tank, so you just hook a garden hose up to here, turn on the water, and it pressurizes all the lines without needing to run your water pump. This front compartment here, we do have that tool I told you about earlier for the stabilizer jacks. It just lines up there. One way's down, the other way is up. And also, right in front of that back tire is just the drain for your fresh water tank. There's going to be a cap that goes over that. That cap's currently off, so the tank's able to drain. That would be how you empty your fresh water tank. At the front here, you do just have this battery box, which houses a battery, and then you do have your propane tank. That's going to be just like home. You turn this valve, opens up the flow to the unit, and you're getting propane flowing inside. You got your tongue jack. One way's up, the other way's down. Inside this compartment here, it's just some storage. Right here, you do have a plug-in for a solar panel. So if you were to buy a portable solar panel, you can plug it right on in here, and that'll charge your batteries. You got two 110 plug-ins here. You do have a leash latch, so if you want to hook up your dog. And then you do just have your 2 low point drains. Take these caps off. It is just going to drain all the water that's inside the lines, because even though you drain your fresh tank, that's not draining your water lines. These are the 2 that you'd have to take off to drain your water lines. And one thing I just didn't go over on the other side, it's just your king power cord plug-in. You just take that off. You just line that notch up there with that notch there. Push it in, give it that 1/8 turn, twist it in, and then you just got your threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow that back, you do just have a standard 30 amp plug-in. Most campsites should have this, and you can plug right on in. But if you're at a campsite that doesn't have it, or if you're at home and you want to run your fridge, we do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keep in mind you are going down to 15 amps of power, so you wouldn't be able to run something like your fridge. And then whenever you do have this plugged in, you got a red light and a green light. If the red light were to come on, it's just telling you there's an issue with shore power. Green light's telling you have successful power. This little vent here is just for the range hood inside, so whenever you're running your stove, you're gonna wanna have that on and make sure that this flap is open. Whenever you are traveling, you can close this flap up just by pressing it into place. It clicks into place, and that just stops any excess dust from going inside from whenever you're traveling. To get inside, you do just take that assist handle, push it up and fold it 90 degrees, it'll lock into place. Then you can take your handle, open up your door. You do have your steps. Your steps do have 2 pins on either side, just for adjusting your feet for your campsite needs. Taking that safety, unlocking it, the stairs will fold down. Once you take a step on inside, first things first, right on your left is just your fire extinguisher. And then up on the wall here is just kind of your monitor and control panel. So you got your water heater switch on the far left. Whenever you hit that, this DSI fault light's gonna come on. At this point, the water heater is gonna try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this DSI fault light's gonna stay on, at which point you have to turn this off, go hit that reset button I showed you outside and turn it back on, and it'll try lighting itself again, because sometimes it does take a second just to get the air out of the lines. And then right besides that, your water pump switch, and then you have your ceiling light switch, which does turn on most of the lights in the living space, and then your awning LED light switch, which turns on that strip light. To get that awning to go out, you're just hitting that button extend, just being mindful that your door does block your awning arm. So whenever you are running your awning out, you are just going to want to make sure that this door doesn't block that awning arm, causing any damage. You're going to know that awning's fully extended when you see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hanging down. So unfortunately, we aren't able to get it all the way open today just because of space, but I will show you that if it were to start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, make sure that this is loosened off. You can pull this arm in, and that's going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to then run off. And then you just do need to tighten this up, and that's going to lock it into place. Oops. Lock it into place. And then once that arm is locked into place, you could do the same thing with the front arm, and it'll allow for more shade underneath, but just always making sure you loosen this off. Holding it, because it will just push out. And just making sure both are loose whenever you go to bring it in. Bring it in, you just hit that retract button, make sure the awning fabric goes the right way in. Once it contacts the trailer, that's kind of it. On this wall here, you do have your main GFI plug. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I would check. You got test on the left, reset in the middle. Whenever there's no lights here, that is just telling you got a successful power source. In the bedroom area, you do have storage on each side of the bed. This table is kind of nice because it does just fold up. If you were to put the bed away quick, you do have your thermostat on this side here. Now this thermostat doesn't only control the heater, so once you slide this over, all the way to the right is going to be at its hottest settings. Anywhere in the middle is cooler. Speaking of furnace and including your stove, both the stove and the furnace run off propane, which puts off fumes. We do have an LP detector in here, just right here. If this guy ever starts going off, propane's heavier than air. It does sit on the ground, so that guy's going to start detecting it. Turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit, and open up the windows just to ventilate it out. All the blinds in the unit do just kind of sit where you leave them. Pull it down, it stays down. You push it up, it stays up. This is the fire exit. To get that working, you just have to pull this tab. The screen's going to come right out. Take this little arm, unhook it out of its house, and just push it out, and you can hop on out of the unit. To get the bed to fold down, you do just have to move these cushions out of the way. unlock that travel latch. And the bed does just slide down, fold down into place like so. And then once you're done sleeping, it is just as simple as pushing it up, locking that back into place so it doesn't fall on anybody. And then just taking your cushions, putting them back where they belong. In the little kitchen area, you do open this up and you do have some nice storage space as well as a coat hanger up top. You have your fridge. That's going to be simple. You just push that button. It's going to turn on like it says right on the fridge. If red, check gas, because if shore power were to be taken away, this fridge is going to switch over to gas. And if the gas doesn't successfully light, it will pop up a red light. Right below that, you do have your main furnace output. This is going to be the only place that the furnace is blowing its air out of. So if you do want to move it around the unit a little bit, I would suggest getting a fan. Inside here, you do have your breaker panel and fuse panel. Whenever a fuse pops, there'll be a little red indicator light telling you which one's popped. And whenever a breaker trips, it is just going to sit in the middle, so you have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. In the kitchen area, you do have a sink with hot and cold water, storage underneath, and then for the stove, it does work pretty simple. You just fold that up. You're just going to turn those knobs over to high, hit it with a lighter, and it should light right on up. I will say now that sometimes it does take a minute just to clear the air out of the line, so if it doesn't fire up right away, don't panic. Just let it purge itself. And whenever you are running the stove, I do recommend running this fan just so it evacuates some of those fumes. And then you have a microwave up top. That's going to be just like home. Not much I can show you there. And then if you take a step into the bathroom, you do have a shower with hot and cold water as well as a sink. Again, another main GFI plug that you'd have to check if you have an outlet that doesn't work. And then just right inside here, you do have these two access panels. That's going to give you access to your hot water heater for winterization to get to those bypass valves. And then back into the main living space. After you show you have a fan in here, just a switch on the side to turn it on. If you'd like a max air vent cover for this, I do recommend it. That way you can have this open even if it's raining or traveling. But if you don't have one, I don't recommend leaving it open during travel or rain. Back into the main living space, you do just have your AC above your head. Both these filters are cleanable. You just have to pop these off, blow them off with air, and put them back in. You'll notice there is a little red section on this. This unit doesn't actually have a heater installed in it, the heating element installed in it, so it is just an air conditioner. So you always leave that there. And then your settings are just on this side. So you got off, you got low fan. So at this point, this is just the air conditioner moving air around with the fan on a low fan. And then you get high fan, and then you get low cool. So now the actual air conditioning takes into effect on low fan. And now you got high cool, which is air conditioning on a high fan, and then just back to off. On this wall here, this is your little entertainment center. You got your radio. There's not much I'll be able to show you there other than the fact that you have zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 being interior speakers and zone 2 being your exterior speakers. You do have these pre-wired coax plugins for your TV if you were to want to run that through the stereo. You got your cable satellites, inlets, and right beside that is this little black button. You push that in, that green light comes on. That's just telling you that you're turning the antenna on the roof, which also improves radio frequency. And then you just have some more storage underneath. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.